Hey, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we got something special for you guys. We're going to be talking about the Division 3, you guys. Yes, the Division 3 has finally been announced. If you guys already heard this new, man, yo, I know you guys are hyped just as I am, you guys. I'm one of the biggest Division fan like ever. I mean, when the Division 1 was first announced, you guys, I mean, when we talking about the graphics, the gameplay, the environment, as far as being in New York, the snow, you know, the pandemic, all this stuff, man, how made the Division 1 so amazing. Now, Division 2 came out, it was trying to take it to a higher level, and a lot of things to me is still kind of like not as good as the Division 1, in my opinion. People feel the other way around. But the Division 3 has been announced, you guys. So I want to know for you guys, what do you guys think about the Division 3? Are you guys so hyped? Because I am. Now, let's talk about the Division 3, you guys. So for the Division 3 to succeed, it needs to get one thing right, you guys. Now, one of the things that we talking about Division 1 and 2, we talking about Washington, D.C. and New York. Those two environments are so epic, you guys, just because of what they actually mean to the United States. When you talk about New York, the biggest city, you're talking about Washington, that's the capital. So now, as far as like what other places we should probably look forward to on the Division 3, I would say maybe multiple cities. I'm thinking maybe have a crossover to where you go to like two separate states, just like they did on the Division 2, where you can actually still go to New York and still be on DC, but have it straight from the back, straight out the back. When the game first come out, you should have multiple locations. I think that right there will actually make the game like better than any other game. Some of the environments, some of the places that I think they should have is probably like Chicago. You know what I'm saying? They probably have Chicago or California. I mean, those two, like Chicago is one of the most dangerous states. You guys already know all the crime going on in Chicago. So I would imagine that this type of, you know, situation going in Chicago, like what it would look like now. And in California, we're talking about Hollywood. I mean, can you imagine Hollywood? I mean, we already know as far as like The Walking Dead and things like that, what happened on one of the Walking Dead's episode. Fear of the Walking Dead, basically. I think that took in LA, Hollywood, all that area over there. I think the Hollywood sign was destroying everything like that. So imagine just having a division in California, you know what I'm saying, LA, all that stuff over there, man. That would be amazing. So Chicago, LA is definitely one of the two places that I would definitely want to see the Division 3. So let's talk a little bit more about the division, you guys. So following the footsteps of the first two of the Division games means that the Division 3 has to basically work extra hard. It has its work cut out for it. One particular game element is basically the environment. Once again, you guys, so the Division 3 has been announced, but players will have to wait as other games will release beforehand. So we got games like the day before, the First Descent recently was announced. Right now we got Starfield, we got Modern Warfare 3 recently coming out, and then we have, I think that the Division, I think they are gonna be the ones that develop that Star Wars game. So we gotta wait and see what happens. So the Division has been officially announced, you guys. I mean, I can't stop saying it, man. And that without being said, you guys, so players should know that it is going to be a while before the game finally release, since Star Wars Outlaws as well as the Division Heartland will be arriving beforehand. Now the Division Heartland, I don't think it's going to be as big as people think, just because it's going to be a free to play. And I feel like as far as the graphics, when I see some of the gameplay, I just feel like they didn't put too much work on the graphics and the environment, make it so realistic, especially since we got this, you know, the next gen, as far as or current gen, as you want to call it, PS5, we got PC, Xbox X. And when you look at the Division 1, if you put the Division 1 on Xbox X or the PS5, it looks a lot better than on the regular PS4. But the Division Heartland, to me, doesn't look better than the Division 1 or the Division 2. So to me, I'm a little concerned with the Division Heartland, because I just feel like they're not putting as far, not as the gameplay or looting or any other stuff, but as far as the environment, how it's supposed to look, it don't look that realistic. So I feel like it's not going to be as big. It's going to be okay, but not as big. So before we move on, let's talk about the Division 1. The reason I want to talk about the Division 1 is because if you want to live up to how great the Division 1 was, you need to top that. So let's talk about what we saw in the Division 1. So the Division 1, the original Division game, it was set in the iconic New York City, including on-the-ground metro lines, towering skyscrapes location. Also, the game takes place between Thanksgiving, Christmas season, meaning that plenty of infrastructures and business and holidays, decorations on displays, and the streets are always covered in snow, while the post-apocalypse holiday vibes make for a strong atmosphere in the game. With that being said, just playing on the snow with the environment and, the storm sometimes, it was time when we used to get a blizzard and you can't see nothing. You had to fight enemies like that. And just going to the dark zone with the snow and cars being burned down and things like that, it make it so good, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like the Division 2 was missing that because we didn't have that snow in Washington, which it kind of didn't make any sense. Also, another thing about the Division 1 that I like was the weapons, the exotic weapons, the multiplayer, the PvP, last stand, and things like that. Like, we had some cool PvP modes that were very chaotic. Some of the gear sets, like the nomads, the ones that you guys remember, the ones that used to heal you like right away, and people used to it used to be OP with that. Some of the stuff like that is missing on the Division 2. So I don't know, I just feel like Division 2 is great, but still missing a little bit of the Division 1. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just something missing on the Division 2 from the Division 1. I can't tell you exactly what it is. It just feel like it's something. But let's move on. Let's mention a little bit about the Division 2 though. So when we're talking about the Division 2, they took the series post-apocalyptic troops to the new heights by taking place in Washington, D.C., the United States Capitol. The environment, the overall graphics for the entry in the franchise result in another incredible details and realistic city for player to explore. Also giving it popularity, a portion of the original Division New York map was eventually added to the Division 2 as a playable area via Warlords of New York expansion. If you guys, remember Warlords of New York when it first came out, you think, okay, New York, we're going back to New York. Now, we didn't get the full New York City, which was a little bit disappointing, but we still got some. After exploring Disney's American cities in such a great details, perhaps it takes for the Division franchise to take place in an entire new type of environment, such as change the scenario where we need to properly excuse the Division franchise identity as a core-based shooter as its core, but it is true no matter what the Division 3 takes place needs to be in a great environment. So thinking about that, the Division 3, not just here in the United States, I would say I'm thinking if they don't do something like Chicago or LA, maybe Tokyo. I mean, can you imagine the Division 3 being in Tokyo? You know what I'm saying? Like in Japan. I mean, oh my God, that would be amazing, you guys. Now, a lot of people talking about it's more to the Division franchise that they can do to keep the inner cities landscape fresh, like maybe taking things in a far more future routes, but it could prove to be for the best to moving to that territory. Like, I don't know if they want to do that, whether it's a step in the directions of usual settings or leap into the core side. This kind of transition could be a great opportunity to solve problems for the Division franchise before it ever exists. Now, the survival mode from the original Division 1 was one of the fan favorites that unfortunately didn't end up becoming available in the Division 2. In the all-survival game mode, the harsh winter climate forced players to maintain a healthy body temperature by acquiring proper clothes and staying near the fire sources, or while surviving gunfights. Given that the Division 3 is likely to stray away from both New York and Washington, D.C., the new settings could potentially bring back snow or other climate conditions that had the impact of the gameplay. At the same time, the Division 3 could also be a great time to provide the survival mode and also last stand. So where this all started, you guys. So if you guys have not played the Division 1 or 2, I'm going to go ahead and explain to you what the Division basically is. So the Division game first started, this franchise was by Tom Clancy, The Division. It was launched in 2016 and told the story of a biological terrorist attack in New York City that spread a deadly virus via dollar bills. Now, when you're thinking about Black Friday and shopping and things like that, it's basically what the Division 1 had introduced, where a lot of people go shopping, everybody using the dollar bills to buy and purchase things, and it was a virus already in the dollar bills, and as many people went shopping, the virus started spreading and created, basically death. So this whole event activated a secret group of highly trained operators called the Division agents, who grabbed some guns and began killing every criminal, slightly dangerous persons in the city, while apartments for food, clothes, and ranged guns. All that was actually introduced, as far as like you had to be looting, you had to start, trying to get better, level up, and things like that. And it was so many different enemies as far as criminals. You got the cleaners, they had the fire. It's so many different enemies that you had to take down, because they were actually taking over different territories. Since it was a post-apocalypse, humans are always going to find a way to actually take over areas, just because they might just want to take control of some of the territory, since they can just go ahead and do that. We got no more police or anything like that. So that's pretty much what happened. The Division agents actually took upon themselves to actually try to take control and save the city by killing pretty much every criminal and groups that it was around. So as far as in 2019, the Division 2 was launched and continued the story, but this time the shooting and looting happened in Washington, D.C. Since then, the franchise has announced 2 games, but neither has been released. Now the Division has gone and done other things as well, but confirmed that it's working on yet another Division project, the 3rd entry in the main franchise. So we have things like Watch Dogs 2, Ghost Recon, also new Ghost Recon supposed to be coming out. So anyway, man, that's all for the Division 2, Division 1, you guys. So like I said, we're very excited for the Division 3. I can't wait. One of the main things that I'm looking forward is I know they're going to do right by the gameplay. I know they're going to do right by the weapons, the looting, the gear sets, maybe the story. 2 things that I want to see from the Division 3, and let me know on the comments down below if you guys actually agree with this. I would say maybe with the Division 3, we could be talking about more cinematic, a lot more cinematic through missions. So every time you complete a mission, or every time you're going to get to a mission, actually probably see a cinematic gameplay. As you guys know, when you find some of the recordings on Division 1 and 2, you can click, play some cinematic for some of the things that the enemies did. I feel like instead of doing that, they should just put it throughout the missions. And it will actually make it a lot better. So see more cinematics, more action, or what's actually happening when the enemy takes over and you got to stop the enemies, things like that. Or when you complete the mission, you talking to everybody, things like that. That, and the second thing that I mainly want to see is the graphics. As far as the graphics, I want to see graphics going to another level. Now, I'm not sure if they can use Unreal Engine 5. I'm not sure if they're able to do that, just because they got their own engine. But if they were to do something like that, where they can use their Unreal Engine 5, or they can upgrade their engine or come out with a new engine, they're similar to the Unreal Engine 5, which I don't think a lot of people would do that, just because it takes so many years to actually do that. But they need to make the graphics look so realistic. I mean, we got some of the games on Unreal Engine 5. When you look at some of these trailers, some of this gameplay, you're looking like, oh my god, some of these games are absolutely insane, you guys. I mean, it's nothing that you can do to not look at some of these trailers, some of this gameplay. And I feel like the Division can do the same thing. Division 1 was first announced, and this is in 2013, 2016, whatever. I think it was 2016. It had looked absolutely insane, you guys. The snow, the police cars, things like that had looked amazing. And then when the game came out, it was a downgrade. It happened with the Watch Dogs 1, Watch Dogs 2. So I feel like working with the graphics and working with cinematic gameplay as far as the missions and things like that, and then also the environment. If we can get maybe Tokyo, you know, somewhere in Japan, California, or even Chicago, or Chicago and California together, you know what I'm saying? Something like that would be nice. But anyway, man, whatever you guys think, let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you guys hit the notification bell so you guys don't miss my future video. And we'll see you guys next time in the next one. Let's get it, yo.
Inbound on your location. Hold tight. She'll get you home. Let's get you home, Agent.